Greetings and welcome once again to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States, 1787. Let's get right down to it. So, as you probably would know, in 1787, a week after its revolution, America faced the constant threat of Barbary pirates disrupting trade, capturing our sailors. Morocco's Sultan Mohammed III stepped in with this Treaty of Peace and Friendship, protecting American vessels and ensuring vital trade access and no warfare. It was an early alliance, and it showcased America's resilience on strategic diplomacy, a necessity later contrasted by the Barbary Wars. Those were armed conflicts. It was a defining move in U.S. history, highlighting that survival wasn't just about force, it was about forging smart, peace-driven partnerships. And this is a strategy we see still today in global maritime security efforts sometimes. With that being said, let's get on with the presentation. So, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1787, between Morocco and the United States. To all persons to whom these presents shall come or be made known, whereas the United States of America and Congress, assembled by their commission, bearing date the 12th of May, 1784, thought proper to constitute John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson, their ministers plenipotentiary, giving them, or a majority of them, full powers to confer, treat, and negotiate with the ambassador, minister, or commissioner of His Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco, concerning a treaty of amity and commerce, to make and receive propositions for such treaty, and to conclude and sign the same, transmitting to the United States in Congress, assembled for their final ratification. So the United States of America in Congress, assembled by commission, and they are granting plenipotentiary powers to Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and John Adams. So this is giving them the full use of powers to make treaties, agreements, and act on behalf of the United States of America, and then transmitting the same to the United States without America on there in Congress. And I'm wondering if that was an intentional omission, which it more than likely was, assembled for their final ratification. And by one other commission bearing date the 11th day of March 1785, did further empower the said ministers of plenipotentiary, or a majority of them, by writing under the hands and seals, to appoint such agent in the said business as they might think proper, with authority under the directions and instruction of the said ministers, to commence and prosecute the said negotiations and conferences for the said treaty, provided that the said treaty should be signed by ministers. And whereas we the said John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, two of the said ministers of plenipotentiary, the said Benjamin Franklin being absent, by writing under the hand and seal of the said John Adams at London, October 5th, 1785, and of the said Thomas Jefferson at Paris, October the 11th of the same year, did appoint Thomas Barclay, agent in the business aforesaid, giving him the powers therein, which by the said second commission we were authorized to go give, and the said Thomas Barclay, in pursuance thereof, hath arranged articles for a treaty of amity and commerce between the United States of America and His Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco, and sealed with his royal seal, being translated into the language of said United States of America, English, together with the attestations thereto annexed, are in the following words, to wit: in the name of Almighty God, This is a treaty of peace and friendship established between us and the United States of America, which is confirmed and which we have ordered to be written in the book and sealed with our royal seal at our court of Morocco in the 25th day of the blessed month of Shaban in the year 1200. Trusting in God, it will remain permanent. Whew. High hopes. Article 1. We declare that both parties have agreed that this treaty, consisting of 25 articles, shall be inserted in this book and delivered to the Honorable Thomas Barclay, the agent of the United States, now at our court, with whose approbation it has been made. So he's already given his approval, and who is duly authorized on their part to treat with us concerning all the matters contained therein. So it seems that Thomas Barclay is the only one that went to Morocco. Article 2. If either of the parties shall be at war with any other nation whatever, the other party shall not take a commission from the enemy, nor fight under their colors. Article 3. If either of the parties shall be at war with any nation whatever, and take a prize belonging to that nation, and there shall be found on board subjects or effects belonging to either of the parties, the subject shall be set at liberty, and the effect returned to the owners. If any goods belonging to any nation with whom either of the parties shall be at war shall be loaded on vessels belonging to the other party, they shall pass free and unmolested, without any attempt being made to take or detain them. So this is giving them protection here. A signal or pass shall be given to all vessels belonging to both parties, by which they are to be known when they meet at sea, such as a flag, I would imagine. And if the commander of a ship of war of either party shall have other ships under his convoy, the declaration of the commander shall alone be sufficient to exempt any of them from examination. Article 5. If either of the parties shall be at war, and shall meet a vessel at sea belonging to the other, it is agreed that if an examination is to be made, it shall be done by sending a boat with 2 or 3 men only, and if any gun shall be bred and injury done without reason, the offending party shall make good all damages. Oh, interesting there. And if you haven't already done it, please hit the like. Make sure we get notifications out there, because it seems like we've been getting thin notifications as of late. Let's proceed. Article 6. If any more shall bring citizens of the United States or their effects to His Majesty, the citizens shall immediately be set at liberty, and the effects restored. And in the like manner, if any more, not a subject of the dominions, shall make prize of any of the citizens of America or their effects, and bring them into any of the ports of His Majesty, they shall be immediately released, as they will be considered as under His Majesty's protection. So safe harbor here. If any vessel of either party shall be put into a port of other, and have occasion for provisions or other supplies, they shall be furnished without interruption or molestation. If any vessel of the United States shall meet with a disaster at sea, and put into one of our ports to repairs, she shall be at liberty to land and reload her cargo without paying any duty whatever. Article 9. If any vessel of the United States shall be cast on the shore on any part of our coast, she shall remain at the disposition of the owners, and no one shall attempt going near her without her approbation, that's of course her approval, clear approval, as she is then considered particularly under our protection. And if any vessel of the United States shall be forced to put into our ports by stress of weather or otherwise, she shall not be compelled to land her cargo, but shall remain in tranquillity until the commander shall think proper to proceed on his voyage. Very nice. Article 10. If any vessel of either of the parties shall have an engagement with a vessel belonging to any of the Christian powers within gunshot of the forts of the other, the vessel so engaged shall be defended and protected as much as possible until she is in the safety. And if any American vessel shall be cast on shore on the coast of Wadnun or any coast thereabout, the people to her shall be protected and assisted until by help of God they shall be sent to their country. Wow. Article 11. If we shall be at war with any Christian power, and any of our vessels sail from the ports of the United States, no vessel belonging to the enemy shall follow until 24 hours after departure of our vessels, and the same regulations shall be observed towards American vessels sailing from our ports, be the enemies Moors or Christians. Wow. So 24 hours after the departure of our vessels. Give them, I guess, a good head start, huh? Article 12. If any ship of war belonging to the United States shall put into any of our ports, she shall not be examined on any pretense whatever, even though she should have fugitive slaves on board. Nor shall the governor or commander of the place compel them to be brought on shore on any pretext, nor require any payment for them. Wow, now this is an interesting one here. The mention of the slaves. If any ship of war belonging to the United States shall be put in any of our ports, she shall not be examined on any pretense whatever, even though she should have fugitive slaves on board. A ship of war having fugitive slaves on board. Huh. Interesting there. Don't require any payment for them. All right, Article 13. If a ship of war of either party shall be put into a port of the other and salute, it shall be returned from the fort with an equal number of guns, not with more or less. Article 14. The commerce with the United States shall be on the same footing as the commerce with Spain, or as that with the most favored nation for the time being, and their citizens shall be respected and esteemed, and have the full liberty to pass and repass our country and seaports whenever they please, without interruption. So in these cases, citizens are definitely, in a way, subjects of the respective parties here, United States or Morocco. And the commerce with the United States shall be on the same footing as is the commerce with Spain, which is their nearest European neighbor, or as that with the most favored nation for the time being, which must be Spain. And their citizens shall be respected and esteemed, and have full liberty to pass and repass our country and seaports whenever they please, without interruption. Article 15. Merchants of both countries shall employ only such interpreters and such other persons to assist them in their business as they shall think proper. No commander of a vessel shall transport his cargo on board another vessel. He shall not be detained in port longer than he may think proper. And all persons employed in loading or unloading goods, or in any labor whatever, shall be paid at the customary rates, not more and not less. Oh boy, customary rates. Who sets those? Article 16. In case of a war between the parties, the prisoners are not to be made slaves, but to be exchanged one for another, captain for captain, officer for officer, and one private man for another. And if there shall prove a deficiency on either side, it shall be made up by payment of 100 Mexican dollars for each person wanting. Mexican dollars. And it is agreed that all prisoners shall be exchanged in 12 months from the time of their being taken. And it says in 12 months, huh? And that this exchange may be effected by a merchant or any other person authorized of by either parties. Ooh. Article 17. Merchants shall not be compelled to buy or sell any kind of goods, but such they shall think proper, and may buy and sell all sorts of merchandise, but such as are prohibited to other Christian nations. Prohibited. What kind of goods could those be? Article 18. All goods shall be weighed and examined before they are sent on board. And to avoid all detention of vessels, no examination shall afterwards be made, unless it shall first be proved that contraband goods have been sent on board, in which case the persons who took the contraband goods on board shall be punished according to the usage and custom of the country. And no other person whatever shall be injured, nor shall the ship or cargo incur any penalty or damage whatever. So they're going for the person that was responsible for it. Yikes. Article 19. No vessel shall be detained, import on any pretense whatever, nor obliged to take on board any articles without the consent of the commander, who shall be at full liberty to agree for the freight of any goods he takes on board. Bounce over here to the chat really quick and see if anyone is here. Yeah, I guess the notifications didn't go out, did they? Lisa Les TV's here to throw some of the Oakland love. Yeah, we'll have, I guess we're almost back to the outro song here because we're coming near the end of this treaty. Article 20. If any of the citizens of the United States or any persons under their protection shall have any disputes with each other, the consul shall decide between the parties. And whenever the consul shall require any aid or assistance from our government to enforce his decisions, it shall be immediately granted to him. Article 21. Swift justice in Morocco. If any citizen of the United States should kill or wound a Moor, or on the contrary, if a Moor shall kill or wound a citizen of the United States, the law of the country shall take place, and equal justice shall be rendered, the consul assisting at trial. And if any delinquent shall make his escape, the consul shall not be answerable for him in any manner whatever. Article 22. If an American citizen shall die in our country, and no will shall appear, the consul shall take possession of his effects, and if there shall be no consul, the effects shall be deposited into the hands of some person worthy of trust, until the party shall appear, who has right to demand them. But if the heir to the person deceased be present, the property shall be delivered to him without interruptions. And if a will shall appear, the property shall descend agreeable to that will as soon as the consul shall declare the validity thereof. On to Article 23. The consuls of the United States of America shall reside in any port of our dominions that they shall think proper. So they can live in any of those ports that they think proper, and shall be respected and enjoy all the privileges which the consuls of any other nation enjoy. And if any of the citizens of the United States shall contract any debts or engagements, the consul shall not be in any manner accountable for them, unless he shall have given a promise in writing for the payment or fulfilling thereof, without which promise in writing no application to him for any redress shall be made. Nice language here now. Let's break this down a little bit more. So consulates, right, can be in any port of the dominions of the Moors that the consul thinks proper, and they shall be respected, enjoy all the privileges which consuls of any other nation enjoy. And if the citizens, not the consul, the citizens of the United States shall contract any debts or engagements, the consul shall not be in any manner accountable for them. So citizens, consuls, unless he shall be given a promise in writing for the payment or fulfilling thereof, without which a promise in writing no application to him for any redress shall be made. So there's a promissory note, promising to pay. Wow. Article 24. If any differences shall arise by either party infringing on any of the articles of this treaty, peace and harmony shall remain, notwithstanding, in the fullest force, until a friendly application shall be made for an arrangement, and until that application shall be rejected, no appeal shall be made to arms. And if a war shall break out between the parties, 9 months shall be granted to all the subjects of both parties to dispose of their effects and retire with their property. And it is further declared that whatever indulgences, in trade or otherwise, shall be granted to any of the Christian powers, the citizens of the United States shall be equally entitled to them. Wow. Christian powers. Interesting. Interesting terminology of the time. And you can see this is the up and coming of the United States as a world power when it's being respected and needing to have this articulated in these documents. It's not just a tacit acceptance of them being a respected power, because they're not yet, especially considering maritime, but up and coming. Article 25. This treaty shall continue in force, with the help of God, for 50 years. We delivered this book into the hands of the before mentioned Thomas Barclay on the first day of the blessed month of Ramadan, in the year 1200. I certify that the annexed is a true copy of the translation made by Isaac Cardoza Nunez, interpreter at Morocco, of the treaty between the Emperor of Morocco and the United States of America. Thomas Barclay. And that takes us to the end of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States from 1787. Definitely a breaking point for the United States of America as a world power, and especially in the time of piracy, that it was a stable way for us to build up commercial enterprise on the high seas without the constant threat of seizure of cargo, of men, sailors, etc. So there was a whole different dynamic back then. I think a lot of people take for granted, but it is the legacy of where a lot of our laws regarding commerce come from. And as we see to this day, there's still issues regarding piracy and safe passage and safe harbor. And that being said, I thank you all for attending this one here. This is something that's an important part of the history, and it gives us a context, a lens into the past with factual documents like this to see the way things really were for us to draw our own conclusions and not just rely on other people's opinions of how things were. But when you see it in these words here, it gives you a much more accurate lens of the way the past was and how we got to where we are today. With that being said, thank you all for coming here tonight, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.